Yeah, good debt versus bad debt. So, good debt is anything that helps you build your net worth. So, for instance, a mortgage. Um, Chris, you have a mortgage. I have a mortgage. We actively pay down our mortgage. We try to pay more every month to pay that quicker, and it's actively increasing our net worth.
Yes.
Another thing that is considered as good debt is student loans. Now, you have a philosophy about student loans, but I can see where people think it's good debt.
I hate student loans.
Why you say that?
I hate it. I mean, it's right now it's the bane of my existence. I mean, if I didn't have student loans, I would literally be everywhere I want to be in life.
Okay, I can appreciate that, but sometimes people need the student loans so they can build their careers, go to school, and start a profession. Right? You would agree with that?
Yes. Okay. I mean, here's the thing, right? So, I get this rap about always talking badly about debt because I hate debt and I don't think we need debt. But I'm not going to be ignorant to the fact that in some situations, people are going to have to utilize debt. If you come up in certain situations that you didn't ask to be in, sometimes you have to utilize debt to get out of it. So let's talk about student loans.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me, should I, take a few years off so I can save money and go to college later versus going to college now and taking out student loans? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say go to college now, take out the student loans. My only thing I'll say is do not take out more in student loans than half of your expected first year salary. That's just my plain philosophy. And you will thank me later for that. So you need to figure out what that figure is, spread out over 4 years, and then come up with a way where you work a side job or a summer job or something to make up for the rest of the money that you're going to need for school. And then, of course, apply for scholarships and Pell Grants. Okay, now a home mortgage. Now, because it will be extremely ignorant for me to say everybody has to buy a house that they live in all cash. It's just not possible. I'll be waiting decades to own the kind of house that I'll be living in. So I understand that. And I think that I look at a mortgage almost like a utility, right? Because you got to pay monthly for your electricity bill. You got to pay monthly for your gas bill. Well, you got to pay monthly for somewhere to live. And even if you paid it off all cash, you will still have to pay taxes. So as long as it's somewhere you're living in, I don't mind borrowing for it. And I don't even mind borrowing a low down payment, one of those, 5% down payment loans, even though that puts you in more debt. Right. Now, I don't say go get a 5% down payment on a home you can't afford. That's stupid. But, if you want to get in the game and you can figure it out to be less than you would pay in rent, go for it because I believe in home ownership. So, those are the scenarios where I say, hey, go ahead and take the debt. Student loans, if it's completely necessary, just take as little as possible, and the home mortgage.
Right.
Now, when you talk about a loan for a business, I say start off small, cash flow your business. Mm-hmm. For a car, buy a car you can afford to buy all cash. I don't care who you are, how much you make. There is a car out there you can buy cash. It may not be the car you want, but you know what? Build up till you can get to that car you want all cash. What else do people borrow money for? Clothes and stuff? No, don't borrow money for that.
So do you think it's a good idea to take the student loan, maybe, take a little more than what the school wants you to pay for or whatever? Take the excess funds, the refund, and fund that, your business, or fund an index fund or your portfolio. What do you think about that idea?
No, I think it's a bad idea.
Okay. I mean, I know people that take their refunds and they go buy cars, and, maybe they need to get from point A to point B, and it's a lower interest rate than what they probably would get buying a car outright with the auto loan. So, I mean, looking at it from that perspective, the interest rate is lower. They're saving a little bit on the money, and that way they can start their business. Sometimes people can't get business loans, so they may take the student loans, the excess funds, and start their business with that.
Well, can you give me an example of what kind of businesses somebody will be starting?
I mean, anything. A clothing line. You could start a consulting firm for $10,000 with your refund. You could start a freelance company.
So like freelance photography, let's say?
Yeah. I mean, Fiverr, or say if you're doing a podcast, you want to fund your expenses like that.
Sure.
Yeah, anything.
Cash flow.
Okay.
Get a job,
Yeah.
It's safe. Get some side hustles on top of their job. Drive Uber. I know people that make $1,000 a month driving Uber.
That's true.
I mean, you make $1,000 3 times.
Yeah.
You can get most of those things you talked about started. You can definitely start a clothing line with $3,000. You can start a podcast with way less than $3,000. So, I mean,
that's true.
It's just a lot. I just feel like a lot of people don't want to do the work. So, and a lot of people don't want to wait. I feel like a lot of people, you know, like this whole fiasco with the SBA loans. The reason people are so in love with loans is because somebody's giving you a bunch of money right now. Instead of earning that money over time, being patient, diligent, and disciplined, and just saving that money over time so you can have that money. They'd rather have it right here, right now.
Well, there's a caveat to the SBA loan. Because if you use it in the right way, I think it's like 90 to 95% on your business expenses, where that's rent, that's your payroll, you know, other expenses like that. The loan is actually forgiven and you can turn it into a grant. So, you know, I recommend some people take advantage of those loans if they know how to do it and they're going to use it in the right way.
You know who I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. You get what I'm saying.
You know who I'm talking about, though.
Right.
You know I'm not talking about them.
Yeah, the scammers. Yeah.
But, you know, now if you're telling me, you know, like our last episode we had, if you're fresh out of jail, you know, you need to borrow some money to start your own plumbing business or something, I'm not going to fight you about that.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not going to fight you about that. And utilize the SBA loan because I think they, under the Obama administration, they approved SBA loans for felons. So, if you take out something like that, I'm not going to fight you. I still would like for you to cash flow it if possible, but I'm not going to fight you. But the biggest thing where people talk about good debt versus bad debt that I hear from a lot of people, because, you know, you're a home investor, right?
Yeah.
So when you speak on things, you know, of course, I have to take it seriously because this is what you do. It's not really what I do. I mean, the current home I'm living in is a future investment, but right now I'm living in it. But a lot of people say, hey, good debt is getting taking out a loan on a home that I'm going to rent out. I still won't call it good debt. It's just not horrible, but I understand. I mean, if you want to take out a loan to make money, as long as you understand the risk and you have the money available to say, okay, if things hit the fan, I can come up with it and get from underwater, then I understand. I won't do it personally, but I understand.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think everybody's portfolio should have at least 30 to 35% liquid cash, just so you can, you know, if there's an economic downturn or some type of disaster like you were talking about, you can come out of that. And on top of that, try to buy all your houses cash, or, you know, stick with something that you can afford, something real small, a box frame house, a mobile home, you know.
No.
anything.
No mobile homes. For the love of God, don't ever buy a mobile home ever.
Could.
Never. Do not buy a mobile home ever.
Hey, those are lucrative, man.
No.
People need housing.
That mobile homes is probably the only form of real estate.
$25,000.
It's probably one of the few forms of real estate that almost consistently depreciates and not appreciates.
Yeah, but if you just get those families in back to back, some of those people stay in those houses for 10 years. Anyway, basically the point is, you know, investment, real estate investment, you could definitely take out a loan. Mortgage is definitely a good form of debt. Bad form of debt is credit card debt, consumer debt. So going to Gucci, going to Louis, whatever, racking up the credit card, trying to impress people, buying your girl. Yeah, Hermes. You know, popping champagne in the clubs, racking up your credit cards. Stay away from that. That is all bad debt. Terrible.
All right, man. I think we pretty much hit the nail on the head with that one. You know, good debt versus bad debt. Young Equity Chris says no debt, but there are a couple of situations where I will understand. Mortgage, I have one. Student loans, I have one.
Yeah, I definitely think mortgage super important. You know, if you could. If you're smart, you're savvy, you can mess with the student loans to start your business or buy a car. I don't see a problem with that either.
Okay.